guys, welcome back. It's been a really long time. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a while. And I was so proud of myself because when starting this, the hardest part is just starting. And ever since I've started, I feel like I've been okay with consistency. And my plan for my trip that I went on was I was going to vlog everything and post it, and I didn't do that. And you know what? Travel vlogging isn't for me, and that's okay. But I'm back home now. I've been back for like 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe this is week three. And I'm in a new location. This is like a really public spot, but it's literally almost 80 degrees, which keep in mind, I live in Idaho. And like when I was in sixth grade, it was still snowing in April. So I'm really confused, but I already tanned. I actually didn't tan. I got sunburnt. I don't know if you guys can tell. But yeah, the weather's great and everybody's out. And it's really confusing because the trees are all dead, but it's like I'm sweating. And so I think this is going to be a really quick episode because there's a lot of people driving by. And I just wanted to find a little shady spot where I could chat for a little bit. My life has been crazy lately, I feel like. Ever since the trip was amazing, okay? I love traveling so much, and that was like a perfect I don't even want to think about it because it's over and it really devastates me, to be honest. And coming back from a trip is always really hard because it's like you get your after trip like sadness and depression, which I feel like is regular and normal. But this time coming back, it wasn't just getting back into everyday life. I feel like life hit me like a bus. Like I had so many adult situations, which I literally just turned 21, and I went in to go get my license renewed the other day, and the dude was like, "Get ready. It just goes downhill from here." And that's what everybody keeps telling me who's in year 25, 26, and I am trying not to manifest a terrible life, but obviously the 20s are I feel like that's a really hard age that is like most people make it seem like your 20s are going to be the best years of your life when really it's like you are expected to do so many things, but you're still a baby. It's a hard time for sure. And as soon as I got back from my trip, freshly 21, so many situations hit me where I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's no way this is happening." Like, when in your life, like maybe your car breaks down and then maybe like your favorite coworker quits, and then you're like, "Wow, life could not get worse than this." And then more things keep happening and more and more. That's kind of been my life ever since I got back from my trip. So not only is it the sadness from being home after a great trip, it's just life hitting me, and it's really changing a lot of the I love I love being motivated to fix my life, cuz I don't want to stay stagnant in things that don't serve me or aren't good for me. But being 21, I feel like since high school I've just been in this a constant state of movement and nothing, like no calm, no peace. Like I'm not in one place longer than 9 months, and it's really exhausting. Like you're just moving from place to place. And it's not like I want to settle down anywhere, but and it's not like I know where I'd want to settle down or just like live a easy simple life because I have no idea like what job I'd want to get, where I'd want to be. All of these things are still things that are changing, and if I did go settle down in a place for a minute, I'd probably want something different in the next year. And that's what I'm expecting for my 20s, just constant movement and change. But man, this was like these past few weeks, it has been like everything that I thought that was solid in my life. I'm like, okay, great. So it's actually not. And I really have nothing. Like, I feel like when you become an adult and maybe you finally figure out what job you're going to do, maybe you finally figure out where you're going to move, you start planting roots, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like there's got to be a saying for that. But I feel like in every single place that I've gone to, like maybe when I was studying abroad or something, I can be like, okay, this is one really, really good friend that I have. That's a route. This is one coffee shop that I know that I'll go to every single day. That's a route. This is my classes and my schedule that's not going to change. That's a route, you know? And since I've moved back, I started my job, right? I got my boyfriend, and there's the other things that have always been constant in my life, like my friendships, my relationships to my family, the conceptions that I have of myself and who I think I am as a person, that are things that have stayed constant and are my roots, right? Like I have things like that I've set a basis for my life that I believe in or care about, and it feels like this period of my life they have all just been ripped out and I have no idea what is going on. And it's really exhausting, first of all, because it's like if I have nothing, because I'm already, you guys know from the last few episodes, like I've already been in like a phase of my life where I have no idea what is to come in my future, but I know that like things are going to be changing and things are going to be moving and growing all the time. But there are some things I thought that stayed consistent within your life for a long time. Like one thing about me is I always love having black hair, right? And that's something that I have loved since my freshman year of high school. And this is just an example, like this isn't true, but like now, what if I'm thinking, okay, I want to go blonde? That's not a part of like my self image or who I thought I was. And that's something like obviously small, but of course, those are things that you want to change. Like, you don't want to stay the same exact person forever. But there are things that I know to my core that it's like, shoot, these things are changing. And I know that people always say, like, if you think you know yourself at 18, just wait until you're 23. And when I was 19 and freshly out of my long-term high school relationship and I had my entire life flipped upside down again, that's when I realized I didn't know myself and I'd completely lost myself. And so I did a lot of self-work, and I had a lot of time to just be by myself 24/7 and think about the things I never wanted to think about, but come to terms with a lot of the ways that I live and like who I really am as a person. And there have been moments where it's like, how much can I possibly know myself even further? Like, there's no way I could get to know myself even better than this. And now I thought I really knew myself at 20. I had no idea who I was at 19, knew myself completely at 20, and now at 21, I don't know myself at all again. And it's really fun. I love this. It's really great. Um, but yeah, lately it's just been like, well, for one, I have a lifelong best friend. Okay? Let's touch on this for a second. I've always been one of those people who have like I don't have a lot of relationships in my life, but the relationships I do have are very particular and very strong. So I never had a lot of friends growing up, but I always had like a core group of really good friends. And I always had my best friend. So I had like my childhood best friend. And then in 6th grade, so when I was 12, I met this girl named Cadence, and she became my best friend. And we were like literally soul sisters. She was my twin, like did everything together. There were times when we lived together in high school and during college. And lately we've just been on two completely separate life paths. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We just live completely different lives now, which is something that happens. And it's so bizarre because we used to be so alike, and now, like, the lives that we're choosing to live are so contrasting from each other. And I don't think we would have it any other way. But it's really sad because we don't relate to each other like we used to, right? And we don't get along like we used to. And lately, something happened in my life where I realized, okay, we have changed so much as people, and the thing that we are not prioritizing our friendship at all, to the point where you don't know who I am anymore and I don't even know who you are, and we can't even be supportive friends. And something happened in this relationship where I realized I couldn't keep it any longer. Like I couldn't it's been many years now where this friendship hasn't really served either of us. And we haven't been good friends to each other. But it's been one of those things where it's like we're both low maintenance friends and we only see each other once a year, but when we see each other, like, we know what we've been through and we know who we are and we love each other always, and like we'll always be each other's best friend, right? But I don't think, at least for me, the relationships that I want and the relationships that I require need to have this level of understanding and comfortability that you only get when you do prioritize each other, when you are around each other all the time, when you are having meaningful conversations often. And for a long time, we've been in this phase where we are each other's ride or die, but we actually don't speak to each other. And it's been really sad, of course, but it's also like there's nothing, like, we're not being friends, right? And so this situation happened where I was like, okay, I realized I needed to cut her out of my life in some sort of way, or I couldn't keep, like, what's that phrase for like knocking at a dead horse? Kicking a dead horse? Ooh, I don't know. Something like that. And this is like a person that my entire life I was like, okay, we are going to be best friends forever. And now I don't, we're not going to be. And that's okay. But it's just been like multiple situations like this lately in my life where it's like, okay, these preconceptions that I have of who I am and what I want for myself, a lot of them aren't true. And a lot of the things in my life aren't serving me. And I need to figure out how to change them now because I don't want to get comfortable living in a way that doesn't serve me. Because that's what happens when you don't self reflect, right? When you're not thinking about if you're really happy. And I feel like your life requires evaluation all the time because people do get stuck in living in these kinds of ways that it's like this makes you happy, this is good for you now. And then you stick to it, and then 3 or 4 years down the line you open your eyes and you realize, wait, this does not serve me. This is actually really toxic for me. This is really detrimental to my health, physically and mentally. And it's not something I want at all. And I feel like maybe I get comfortable in something that I'm so sure of because I'm not sure about a lot of things. I feel like I'm a very moldable person. But there are some things where I know exactly where I stand and what I want or what I would do in that situation you know? And now I'm coming to realize, okay, wait, you can't just decide this when you are 18 years old and then let that be your basis for the rest of your life. Like, let that lead your life. Which, duh. But moving forward in my 20s, right? And what I want to do next, where I have no idea what I want to do ever. Um, it's been challenging to have a plan, right? I had a plan in place of what I thought I wanted to do. And it just takes one small situation. Actually, it wasn't small. It was pretty crazy thing that happened to me where it's like, okay, well, now maybe I want to go back to school. but I don't want to be a film major anymore and I want to do something completely different. And it should have been obvious this whole time that that's what I wanted to do. But yeah, so that's been my past few weeks of getting back from my trip. And the weird thing is, it wasn't even the trip that like started this conversation that I had to have with myself for confrontation, which is usually the case. Like when I am traveling, it forces me to think outside the ways that I normally would. And I actually saw this crazy statistic that I can't remember at all, but they basically said that more life altering decisions happen after traveling, not after like therapy or whatever, but traveling. I don't know the other examples they used, but yeah, it wasn't the trip that made me just have to re-question a lot of who I am and a lot of what I want for myself. But it was also nice because this situation made me realize that there are some things that I truly do know about myself, at least in the moment, that I can not fall back on, but have some reassurance that I'm not completely lost in who I am as a person. Like, it's not like everything that I thought about myself was a lie. Mm. And, like, of course, sometimes there's going to be things that change and that will continue to change as you get older. And maybe there are things that truly will stay the same forever. But yeah, I've had to question a lot of that lately. And I won't lie, it's been really tough coming back from something like, because my whole plan and my boyfriend's plan as well, while we were on our trip, was okay, this is our one last hurrah. And then when we get back home, we're going to lock in and save so much money and go to the gym and live this particular way. And then by the time we got back, so much was thrown at us and our lives were turned on its heads. And so we had to regroup. And now it's like, oh, is that what we want? Like, do we know what we're reaching towards? Do we know what our end goal is? And it sucks when it's like, okay, I wanted to come back and do this thing, and now I have no idea what I want to do at all. But whatever. That's the place that I'm in. But the sun is shining and it's almost summer. So at least that's going to be great. And it's really exciting because I think I was kind of getting in this mindset of life where I wanted to do the safer thing. And that's something that I haven't regretted about my life and I never want to regret, is the fact that I have been very spontaneous and kind of irresponsible with my life. But I think I'll never regret it. I haven't regretted the way that I've lived yet. And that is, I'm really glad. There are still things that I want to accomplish, but the fact that I've traveled so much and the fact that I don't like waste time trying to be somebody that I don't want to be, or be friends with people that I don't want to be friends with, or live a lifestyle that isn't like good for me. Can I'm glad that I've lived this kind of way in a way that I can be proud of. And I feel like I was about to start living in a way that I would probably regret. And it's been really like reality shattering, but it's been so nice to have like excitement again because there's so many possibilities. And that is so true for like anybody in their 20s, anybody at any point of life, but especially in your 20s. It can feel like there is such a pressure to live a certain kind of way, and like you have to follow this direct life path in order to get what you want. which I think is such bullshit. And we truly like, I don't, I hate that humans were like, we were all put here and expected to contribute to society and the economy, and we can't just simply live without terms and conditions. But the exciting thing about your 20s is that you can really flip your life around. Oh, that's the worst part about all of this, guys, is whenever there's somebody or someone like, there's always a car driving by, there's always a dude around. The other day I was tanning in my backyard and I have to like barricade myself when I'm tanning. Ugh. And this white truck drove past, turned around, drove past again. Oh, is he looking at me, dude? And paused in front of my house. Yeah, this is whatever. He's just taking pictures with the camera. But I've got to go soon anyway. It's really, really hot. And I have 2 new books. Also, guys, I went to book club and turns out nobody likes To Kill a Mockingbird. I liked it though. Let me know. I got Pride and Prejudice, and because it had a really cute cover, and I want to make my library look cuter, but I also wanted to read it. And then I also got The Night Carnival. So, very excited. I love reading in the summer. I don't think like I get the vibe of reading in the fall and winter time, like curl up by the fire or when it's raining or something and you can just be inside all day. I love reading outside and like soaking in the sun and tanning at the same time. It's so fun. Like there's no better time to read. But anyways, so yeah. I feel like maybe my life has fallen apart every 2 weeks. Um for like a year at this point, but that's okay. So I just wanted to let you guys know that my life is falling apart once again. And I wish I could talk about it, but I actually don't want to. So, like, I definitely could. No, I couldn't. This is the first, and it's so terrible because I feel like I'm a very open person. Like, I'm a bartender, right? And if anybody asks me about my personal life, like, I will tell them. Like, last night, I was talking to these 2 people at the bar about, like, my relationship status. I was telling the other people about my, like, teenage drinking habits. You know, like, everything is open for conversation because I really don't have any secrets to hide, I feel like. But this is like, ooh, like, I can't tell anyone. And I hate it actually because I wanna just talk to everybody about it, but whatever. It's fine. It's not like there's gonna be a lawsuit, but who knows? Anyway, it's been great chatting. Love this little short episode. And you know what? Since it's going to be summer, maybe I'll go and shoot some like in nature next to a waterfall. Maybe we could have some background noise. I don't know. Yeah. Well, love you guys. And that's it.